Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a holiday inspired kind of look-ish thing going on. So I took to Instagram and asked you guys what look you'd be interested in. The majority of the requests were on holiday looks, which I think is totally appropriate because I know like once Halloween was over, it was like full on, let's get moving, buy the damn turkey. I don't know what it is. I feel like more people are like in the holiday spirit. Like this year, like I've seen more people excited about it than I have in the past years. I don't know what it is, it's just me. And I saw a lot of people wanting like neutral, something classic, but yet a good amount also wanted something dramatic. So I tried my best to incorporate both of those into one look. And just before we get into it, I did want to quickly mention and just kind of address something because I've actually gotten a few people leave me comments or kind of reached out to me to like, I guess, ask me about this, and I just kind of wanted to address it in a video just so you guys can know, like everyone watching can know my opinion and perspective on this, and hopefully it makes sense. So I've gotten a lot of requests, or I got a lot of, yeah, I guess requests you could say, on doing looks that just have drugstore products or using more drugstore items. And I've said this on my channel before. But I want you guys to know that I'm definitely not someone that I discriminate against makeup brands or prices. I don't believe that something that's priced $50 is necessarily better than something that's priced at $5. I don't believe that whatsoever. I am someone that has a good mix of, I want to say, high-end and low-end stuff. And some of the high-end stuff that I do have in my makeup kit are definitely some items that have been sent to me. And I'm extremely grateful for the fact that any brand would ever feel the need or, you know, want to send me anything of theirs just out of their kindness. For me, I definitely use a bit of a mix within my tutorials. I know a lot of you are asking for like a full like drugstore tutorial where I'm just using drugstore products. And I do want to do that, but I do have some gaps where I don't have a drugstore item to fill that spot for my makeup routine or whatever you want to call it. I do eventually want to have at least a substantial amount of drugstore items as well as high-end items because I do want to cater to you guys as far as your needs. But until then, I need to get to that spot because I definitely don't want to buy products that I don't necessarily need to go out and buy right now, even though they are drugstore, just because I have items in my kit that I can use at the moment. But don't think that I'm ignoring you, or please don't ever feel like I'm disregarding your comment or disregarding your request, because that's definitely not the issue. It's just that, again, I just kind of need to find that like sweet spot of like, okay, now I feel like I have enough of like a drugstore collection to do a full-on drugstore tutorial, because I definitely would like to do that for you guys. I know it's also really helpful for most of you. So until then, definitely leave me your suggestions on what are some of your favorite drugstore items. Keep in mind too that even though if, let's say I'm using a high-end product or whatever, always know that you can manipulate and duplicate the look with a more affordable product. Trust me, I do it all the time. Even the people that I like to watch on YouTube or artists that I follow that are just, I really love to draw inspiration from them. If I see that they created a look and they're using a product that I even don't have in my kit, whether it's high end or low end, no matter what, if I don't have it in my kit, like that specific product, you don't need that specific product to do like the look or technique or whatever. Really what I want you guys to take away from my videos is my technique, or whether it be inspiration, you know, as far as like you want to recreate this look. I mean, definitely take away the information that I'm giving you. Don't take away the I need to buy this product. And that's also kind of why I don't do favorites anymore on my channel, because I noticed that even as myself, I feel like there was a constant need to always have new products to show as favorites, which is just a total, in my eyes, it can be really overwhelming. I don't ever want you guys to feel the pressure like, oh, I need to buy this because she said so or anything like that. Don't ever do that, and I don't ever want to be responsible for that, because definitely we all have places where we need to spend our money and where we have priorities on where our money should go. And not only do I want my channel to just be like a learning experience, but I also want to just be like a place of enjoyment. What I do is on my Snapchat or on Instagram, I do mention products that I am currently using. I'll talk about it if I feel the need to and stuff like that. So if you're somebody that does like to see what are my current favorites or what products do I recommend, definitely follow me on Snapchat or Instagram. So that's just kind of what I wanted to get off my chest and just kind of address it. And even though I'm still a very, very small YouTuber, the support that I do get from you guys, for those of you that are subscribed to me, for those of you that follow me, or just even take the time to watch this video, your support means the world to me, and I couldn't be more grateful. So really thank you. And I hope I can continue to have your support, and definitely we can go on this journey together. And yeah, that's totally all I had to say. So let's move on to this makeup tutorial. So to start off this look, I'm priming my face with my Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer. I am loving this primer a whole lot more than I thought I would, and it is still going strong. So I'm just smoothing this all over my entire face. Then I'm going to be going in with Benefit's Girl Meets Pearl Liquid Illuminator, and I'm first just going to be putting this on the areas of my face where I want it to be spread out, and it gives a really nice sheen and glisten to the skin. Since we are using a pretty matte foundation for this, I still wanted to keep some type of luminosity going on, so I decided to apply this underneath my foundation. Then for foundation, I'm using my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation in the shade 102 and just applying small dots around my face, and then I'm going to be buffing and blending this out with my Bobbi Brown Full Coverage Face Brush. And as you can see, I'm doing more of a stippling motion as opposed to a swirling or swiping motion, just to get a fuller coverage, and making sure to drag the color down my neck so we don't have any obvious lines of demarcation. Then for concealer, I'm using my Maybelline Master Conceal in the shade Light, and on a flat concealer brush, I'm first applying this underneath the eyes, first starting at the tear duct and just fading away down the side of my nose up to the highest points of my cheek, then putting a little bit down the center of my nose and also a little bit on the center of my chin, and carefully in between my brows, since I did have my brows on before my foundation and all that good stuff. And then taking a damp, puffy, bouncy beauty blender and using this to really buff this concealer into our foundation. Again, this concealer is also relatively pretty matte, so just to keep it somewhat natural, dewy looking, I decided to use a beauty blender for this as opposed to a brush. Then I am using my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and on my Real Technique setting brush to just dust this along underneath the underside of my eye, on my nose, and pretty much anywhere else we get oily. And then I'm taking my Anastasia highlighting powder in Banana, and on that same brush, I'm going to be placing this powder just on the areas where we place the concealer, just to add a little bit of warmth to it, since the translucent powder doesn't really have a tint. It's more of just like a beigey color, so I want to add some more yellow back into it. Then for highlight, I'm taking my ColourPop Supershock Cheek Color in the shade Spoon, which is just a highlighting shade, and I like to take this onto my finger and press this onto the high points of my cheeks only, because I think it provides a really great base to apply underneath powder highlighter, and it just kicks it up like 10 notches. It seriously just makes it that much more intense. So going over that with the maryloumanizer and with a fan brush, I'm just going to be packing on my highlight like there is no tomorrow. I literally went in over and over because I really wanted a high intense highlight for this look. I think it's just perfect for the holidays. You can definitely dial this down. You don't have to apply as much highlight as I'm applying here, but like I said, if you're about that highlight life, definitely go hard. Then I'm also going to be taking that same maryloumanizer highlighting powder, and with a small eyeshadow brush, I'm dusting just a little bit on the center of my chin, down the bridge of my nose, and just a little bit above my cupid's bow, just to have a coherent shine all throughout our face. Then for bronzer, I'm kicking it a little bit old school and using my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer with my Sonia Kashuk large powder face brush, and just dusting this on my cheeks upper cheek area and up to my temples, alongside my jawline, a little bit across my chin, and also a little bit on the bottom side of my nose, and of course around my hairline as well, so we have some dimension and warmth back into the face. Then for contour, I am using this flat Sonia Kashuk small brush and my Anastasia Fawn contour powder, and pressing this up alongside my nose. As you can tell with my nose contour, I like to press it into the foundation as opposed to swiping it and disturbing the foundation or concealer that we had worked so hard to place there. Then I'm going to be taking a mixture of Fawn and Java and just really focusing these contour powders on the back side of my natural contour and not dragging it towards the corner of my mouth. I kind of want to keep the contour somewhat soft but really precisely placed. Then for blush, I'm using my light e.l.f. blush palette, which I've been loving recently, and with this Luxie angle brush, I am just picking up some of that almond shade tone blush and applying it to the apples of my cheek and back towards my hairline, because I figure with the lip color I'm going to be using for this look, this blush is just that perfect neutral shade where it's not too pink, not too orange. It's basically just a little bit more of a warm tone bronzer in a way, which is perfect when rocking a red lip. Then I'm taking my Bobbi Brown face blender brush, which is just a real hair pencil brush, real hair face brush, and you can use any brush for this, any clean large powder brush, and I'm just literally going over all the edges of our highlight and contour and blush to just make sure everything is nice and blended. Then I'm going to be applying some NYX brow mascara in espresso onto my brows now that we are done with our face products and our powder products, so we can just set these puppies in place. Then for the eyes, I'm taking my MAC Paint Pot in soft ochre, and just on a fluffy brush, I am making sure to apply this evenly all over my entire lid space. By the way, a little of the stuff goes a long way. You never want to over apply too much of the MAC Paint Pot, or else it kind of defeats the purpose and it can get really clumpy and creasy. For the first shadow we're using, I'm taking Buttery from the Self Made palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills and just applying this all over our entire lid. Then taking this banana shade, it's a matte shade from the Morphe 35O palette on my Bobbi Brown eye blender brush and just going back and forth in our crease. Then with that same brush, I'm using that same palette and taking this taupe matte shade and applying it over on top where we placed the yellow. Really, the yellow was such a light color, but it was necessary just to have a smoother transition, if you will, and it just add a little bit of depth. And I am such a big believer in layering. You guys know this, so I love to layer tons in my crease just to get that perfect blend. Then I'm going to be taking a bookmark, really. This is an old one I had from Bobbi Brown. You can use a business card or anything that has a flat edge, and I'm picking up a little bit of that matte camel shade, and on that same eye blender brush, pressing this alongside the edge of that card, which I lined up with the bottom line of my lashes, and just creating a nice sharp wing. Then taking a little bit of hot chocolate from the Self Made palette onto a smaller crease brush. This one is from Real Techniques, and again, just focusing this color on the outer V. Really, this card helps just keep a nice sharp shape, so we have a guide when creating our wing. Then taking up a little bit of the Spirit Rock shade from the Self Made palette, and again just deepening up that outer V. Then picking up the color Self Made and spraying it over with about 1 to 2 sprays of MAC Fix Plus, and just pressing this on to our lid, blending it and fading it into the dark outer V area. I did experience fallout with this shade, so that's why it's a good idea to have either powder product underneath your eyes so you can just simply dust it away. Then I am taking this loose pigment. It's from Alima Pure Cosmetics. It was sent to me a while back and I haven't really had a use for it, so I decided to try it out today, and I'm using this as a brow bone highlight, and it was spectacular. I really like the way it came out. Then using that same small detail brush and picking up a little bit more of the maryloumanizer, I am popping that onto my inner tear duct. Then taking my ColourPop Super Shock shadow, this one is Blazed, I believe, from the Kathleen Light Squad, and just pressing that onto the center of my lid with my finger. Then taking my Sigma gel liner in Stunningly Ladylike, which is just a really dark espresso chocolate brown, and creating a wing. I decided to create a dramatic wing for this. Again, if you want to keep this a little bit more dialed down, a little, subtle, you can definitely do a more subtle wing, if you will. But like I said, I wanted to add some drama. You don't have to do a wing this large. But what I did do was I didn't connect my wing all the way to my inner tear duct or the inner corner of my eye. I kept it only halfway to create a larger and more elongated shape. But to make sure that when we apply our falsies, we don't have any skin peeking through, I did tight line my upper lashes, which is a really great tip if you decide to do this like no liner look or stopping your liner about halfway through. And then picking up some more liner and just making sure to pop that into my waterline and a little bit below my lower lashes. Then I am taking my MAC 212 brush and a little bit more of hot chocolate and just pressing that up against my bottom lashes. And then with a pencil brush, I am taking all of the colors that we use in our crease and layering them from darkest to lightest underneath my bottom lashes. And I did choose to smoke this out pretty far. You don't have to, you can definitely keep it subtle, but I wanted a really nice smoky blown out look for this. Then I'm just giving my eyelashes a quick curl and applying some of my Jordana mascara, which is probably one of my favorite drugstore mascaras, by the way. And then for lashes, I am using these lashes from a company called Ono Lash. These are the Style 402s, and they are perfect because even though they're full, they are short, so you can still see all of the eyeshadow details that you work so hard at. And then for lip color, I am using, which is my favorite red at the moment, and it is from NYX. It is one of their NYX lip suedes. This one is called Kitten Heels, and it's just your true cherry red lip color, and I loved it, and I think that red just screams holidays, so that's why I decided to go with this one. Then just spraying some MAC Fix Plus and my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, and this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.